First time live in 4 months. Fun. Alright. Hello and welcome to the live stream. This is Nioh, a From Software game, just like Dark Souls, but in a different style of genre, different weapons, armor. Still pretty fun though. And I'm going to be rusty as hell. But fun. Alright, so I'm going to try not to talk during cutscenes or audio dialogue or anything like that, because I don't want to be talking over what's actually going on for you guys. But this is a pretty interesting game. Overall, actually, it's pretty fun. I played a little bit of it, a couple hours at least. And I'm going to try not to talk during any of the audiobooks. That way you guys can actually get a little bit of the story to the game. Because once we get to a certain point, it'll be new for me and you. And as I go along, I will be just equipping different armor and weapons and everything, testing them out and making sure I like them or whatever. Which in this game, certain weapons are definitely more useful than others. Which this is just the tutorial. So anything you see here actually is not part of the legit game so far. This is just for training purposes essentially. Which, as you can already see, it has not given me any like sign of how to actually attack or defend myself. You kind of need to learn that from the beginning on your own. Right there with that first dude. This is the first save point of the game, which is actually kind of interesting, because you will loop back to this one later, and if you do not, you know, come back and try to use that one more than once, like I did, you most likely will die and start from this point. But if you open up the shortcuts, then you should be okay, because I mean, I didn't have any issues trying to get to the first boss, other than the fact that if you don't go back to that praise statue over there, or shrine, you will not get any of your healing items back. You will just be on your own for running through and hoping that you make it to the end without getting completely and utterly destroyed. To switch weapons, if you hold your right bumper in, you'll actually get the option to switch weapons that way. Of course, here's the spear. Which, since the spear does more than the sword, I'm actually going to equip it, but personally, I like the sword a little better. I mean, the spear, as you can guess, actually has better attack range, and the spear you can actually use indoors and everything. The sword you can as well, but if you use the wrong attack style, you'll wind up hitting the walls, and it's just not a fun time that way.
Indeed, the paths of serve their purposes. The death of the people of Japan will spark war. And one thing opportunity to acquire more Amrita.
Once tomorrow's execution takes place, we will get our hands on compasses that lead us to Amrita.
With enough Amrita, we could subdue Spain, perhaps even the world.
The day when England reigns supreme is near.
But the young queen thinks Amrita is nothing more than gold, gemstones.
We must find them before our nation's rights to do.
Edward Kelly, you will go to Japan. It seems it would be to our advantage to keep the wars alive. We cannot gain Amrita if blood does not flow.
Hey, who are you?
Now, and as you can see, the axe The battle axe is actually pretty powerful in the beginning, and you don't have to worry about your attack stances or anything like that. So you can just duke it out with whoever you want and not have to really worry about it. Because later on we'll actually start getting attack stances and different ways of using combos for different weapons, which is actually cool with me. I like that idea, but it also varies because of the fact that if you use a weapon like the sword or the battle axe, it's going to have a very specific set of combos that you can use according to the stances, and a lot of the time the stances are designed for specific combat situations, like swords, fast attacks, short range. We're back here at the shrine again. But your sword has very fast attacks, but short range to them. Your spear has very long fucking attacks. A little bit of both, actually, Jason. A little bit of both. Because there is stuff littered everywhere in this. But yeah. Like right here in this room, you got 3 people. Fighting all 3 of them at once is not really a good idea. Because if you try to fight all 3 at once, like I did before, they will pretty much destroy you in a couple hits. And that's not fun at all. But they like to sneak around. There's guys who will shoot you in the back with crossbows. And each one of them use different weapons too. Like this guy has the sword, the other dude has the spear. Yeah, it's about like Dark Souls. It's actually from software development, so as you can see, I'm getting better gear just by opening boxes, defeating enemies. Better weapons that can be looted off the ground. Like this sword is better than both of the beginning ones that I found. So I'll equip that. It's even a little bit better than the spear, so it's a good idea to make sure you switch up your items as you go through. Go ahead and heal up a bit because I kind of got hurt along the way over here. And as you can see, just dodging around enemies and everything like that works. Of course, this is another situation that I was talking about earlier. These guys try and ambush you. Luckily, the crossbow guy pulled out his sword before he actually shot me, because they can interrupt your attacks by hitting you if they do it right. And you're about to see one of the most difficult enemies in the beginning area that I had to face off with. Not knowing it's not actually the way you're supposed to go originally. You're supposed to go the way ahead of me right here. You're just supposed to go straight down that way, but I'm going to go over here and face off with these 2 burly knights in their armor. Now these guys actually hit really hard. Like they just almost took away my entire stamina bar, so you're going to want to dodge out and just play hit and run with these guys. Unlike me trying to dodge out and getting smacked. And they will dodge too, try and hit you, and I got destroyed. But they will try and hit you by rolling into an attack. They'll try and dodge and hit you, and they don't have any sort of range to stop following you. They just will follow you till you die. They'll follow you all the way across the map back to the shrine. They'll follow you wherever you run to, and I think that's a pretty cool mechanic. Yeah, I actually did get wrecked there. They hit really hard. And I don't really have anything to attack them with properly right now because of the fact that this is a beginning tutorial area. So there's no combat stances or you know, better play tactics, really. You just gotta hit and run. You gonna comment with that one, huh? As you can see there, that dodge is pretty much hyper armor if you attack and then dodge immediately afterwards. Later on, you'll get an ability that will allow you to dodge and then get your stamina back. That green bar up top is actually my stamina, but it's also my bar for using certain abilities. And this is on PlayStation only. That I know of. I haven't seen it on Xbox, only on PlayStation. But yeah, if I go straight, that's the way I'm supposed to go. And of course, if you like a challenge, you can go over here, and there's a chest hidden over here by this wall to my left that I could go get if I wanted to. But right now, I'm not worried about it. I'm trying to just beat these guys down as fast as possible. That way I can get to get to the game again. Which this will take a little bit because they are not meant to be fought like this. You're really supposed to go get the shrine behind them and then fight it out with these guys. And you can use the spear to fight them, you can use the sword, the axe, you know, try and block and everything. Oh, I went the wrong way, shit. Yeah, see the range right there got me on this guy. He's playing defensive, so of course I can block his attack and hit him. Of course I dodged through him there, which made his attack miss me. Ow. Which the axe is honestly the heaviest hitting weapon that you can get in the first area of the game. There we go, now it's on the right slot. As you can see, my quick items are now on my left side of the screen. My weapons are on the right. If you hit L2, it allows you to switch between those. If you hit R1, you can swap between them, between your weapons. So your left or your right trigger is your shortcut items, like your healing, your stones, whatever you want over there, like your kunai. Later on, you unlock kunai for ninjutsu. If you want to use long-range attack, you can get crossbows. Yeah, the axe is actually the slowest, like one of the slowest weapons in the game. Like this, the sword, the spear, the kusanagi, one of the weapons you get later on after the tutorial, and the dual swords are the fastest weapons in the game. The spear is the heaviest hitting and slowest weapon that you can get. Of course, you can equip different armors like heavy armor, light armor. I don't know if there's medium armor yet or not, but each armor has a different weight class. Each armor has different abilities like elemental resist, physical resistance, slash resistance, paralyzed resistance, poison resistance, all of that. And later, as you actually move through the game, you'll fight different bosses, which you will need different armor for, different abilities, different weapons, because you can get poison items, you can get paralyzation items, fire items, earth items, water items, pretty much every element in the game, or in real life, pretty much you can get an element for in this, which is actually kind of cool, because I've not really seen any other games that try and do all the element management properly. Damn. As you can see there, I got greedy, which cost me a lot. Because those guys usually don't do combos unless you're right in front of them. Like with me dodging out, dodging back in, they can't really do a combo on me, which allows me to stay out of any combo spams or anything like that. So hit and run tactics work in this game, but they're not really meant to be used as much as I'm using them. When you die, you basically lose what souls are, or your, what we would call souls in Dark Souls. You'd lose those, which later on I can actually show you what that looks like, because it's not really called souls in this one. It's more the currency in this game, because you don't really use them that much to level up. You use them to get gear or specific items. Like right now, as you can see, when I kill one of these guys, that gold dust pretty much that comes out of them right here is like souls basically in this game, and they drop stones, medicine, armor. They can drop weapons too. It's pretty much a random drop rate. You can also increase the drop rate if you level up your character enough, because souls basically in this rely on your physical strength and your weapon statistics, like your damage or how much armor you can carry. It doesn't really rely on using that to level up, because weapons and your weapon statistics in this aren't based on they're not based on your soul level. It's based on how proficient you are with that one weapon. So with me using the spear here, I can level up my proficiency for later on in the game. I can use the sword or the axe to level its proficiency up for later. Same thing with your sword, your kusanagi, your armor, because your armor soul level is basically your proficiency. So if you use one item more than another, you'll get a level up in that specific item. So if I use the sword through this entire tutorial, by the time I actually got to the main game, after defeating the first boss, I would get proficiency in that, and it'll give me levels up for later. I dodged right into that. So depending on your playstyle you want to use a specific weapon or item in the beginning for later. And there's that combo again that keeps getting me. But proficiency in this game is what you rely on for weapon abilities like combos, parries, jump attacks, dodge attacks. And if I go into the menu here, you can actually see my current stats, my equipment load, my agility, gold, my attacks for which weapon I have, the ranged attacks, which I don't have one right now, my defense in total for my current armor set that I'm wearing. And that's the same thing for over here in the Amrita memories, how to attack, dodge, and all that if you want to use the menu from the beginning. My items that I can carry with me and use throughout the armor that I get. And each one has different statistics that you can use. Like heavier armor has more defense to them, will allow you to guard against more attacks, allow you to, basically be a tank if you wanted to do that. But right now you only get this light armor, which is part of the reason I want to defeat those two big guys that are down there, because they can give me my heavy class armor. Like they give you the breastplate, the boots, but you don't need their weapons as much, because you already have their weapons. It's just a bastard sword and a battle axe. Like these guys here, you can get their spears too if they drop it. You can get their armor like I did earlier with the boots that I just equipped. And like I said, if you want to fight these guys, you can, but I'll move on for now. That way I can get them later. But you want to go this way to actually progress God. You don't want that red status to happen, because if you do actually get that status on you, they can parry you basically, and they'll knock you to the ground and get a critical attack. Which is why stamina management is actually important, just like it was in Dark Souls for this game. Because they could wind up getting a critical on you, and then you're stuck in that state until you either regen enough stamina, or they do a critical attack on you and can pretty much one-shot you if you allow them to. Which, if they actually do get a critical on you, that does not play out well. Like, if I can get one on this guy, I will, just to show you how it works. Like, he could have done a triple combo right there. I've seen them actually do a triple combo before. Oh god. And when they actually do their combos, it is very difficult to get out of it once you're in it. Best thing you can do if you're in a combo is dodge out of it, and then, or not go dodge out of it, but block and hope you can actually stop their combo and come back in to attack them afterwards. Like there I did my hit, stunned him. So that I didn't die. There's the break, but I don't have enough stamina to critical him. See, now I'm actually getting his helm, his arms, which this right here, for the first area, you can see has 21 defense because it's the heaviest armor you can get. And right here I get damage on critical. So basically that's going to allow me to resist, I believe, the damage from that critical if they actually critical me. And that's actually really important, because if I run out of stamina and they critical me, I need as much resistance as I can get to avoid taking all that damage, because if you get critical, you can actually be pretty much one shot from them. Like in this area, if I was to critical one of these guys, I would pretty much insta-kill him. And there's actually abilities for later on in the game that you can get a critical move to grapple people. And if you actually do use that grapple move, you can get distance away from them or guaranteed kill them every time. Like here, there's another set of 2 enemies over here. So I'm going to swap back over to the sword. Just because I can hit them a little bit quicker, I can dodge out. As you can see, where I just dodged, earlier I had a very large dodge range, but now my dodge is actually shortened because I'm wearing my heavier set of armor. So basically wearing light armor in this guarantees you a long dodge. If you have less armor on, you can dodge further distances, but you take a lot less damage with this heavier armor. And of course, if you level up your strength or stamina, you can dodge out and not be attacked. What's up? To where if you actually don't wear your heavy armor, you're just running light armor, they can pretty much hit you for massive amounts of damage. But if you actually wear like plated armor like I am right now, your dodge is pretty much guaranteed. Ow, that's gonna hurt. To where my short range allows me to not take as much damage, but like here, they were hitting me really hard earlier, and now they're not hitting me as hard because I'm wearing my heavy armor, but it nullifies my range until I can level my dude up to be able to dodge with this specific set of heavy armor. And if you have 2 weapons on, like I do with the axe and the sword, it also adds weight to your character. The items in your inventory add no weight at all. You don't actually have weight for those items. Like I could be carrying an entire set of gear and not have any difficulty with my dodging or anything like that. It doesn't. Anything in your inventory doesn't weigh much. Too much Amrita? Not yet. Not yet at all. This is just a tutorial. Right here is actually your second shrine to pray at. And as I said earlier, this is the way back to these two guys that you have to worry about. And each gear level you get, like these are blue, these two are yellow, this is white. Yes, this is the beginning of the game right now. This is just the tutorial. But I can come in, trigger these two to come and fight me now. And since I have my heavy armor, they won't be hitting as hard. And I can hit them to stagger lock them, but it's hard to do, especially if they start doing combos, because you don't want to get caught by one of them even in your heavy armor. And my stamina right now is not as high as it could be later on. Ow. But if you're smart and do like hit and run tactics, even though you're not really supposed to do hit and runs in this, you can. Oh, that's pretty cool, dude. You've been playing for a while. See right there, my hyper armor saved me through that dude's attack, which usually doesn't happen, like right there. Because you have to get a very small window. But right there, I stagger locked him, which can save your life a lot of the time, because just stagger locking enemies and getting away from their combo to regain some stamina helps. Ow. And of course you got situations like that where you're trying to kill one but hit the other because he runs into the way of the attack for no apparent reason. Collect all the loot. And see right here, you got on a special effects, you got damage reduction, defense, toughness, and barehanded attack damage. So if you wanted to, you could equip items like that to where you have better defenses on. Like this one gives me 10 life, this one gives me extra defense. And of course your weapons have some of the same attack stats and everything. Some do better for parrying, some do better for just damage outright. Of course I'm going to go down here and grab all this loot too. Right there is the final blow, so if your enemy's out of stamina, that's what I was talking about earlier. It's actually a finishing move, essentially, for downed enemies. And right here, you got a knight in plated armor, and then that dude over there with the crossbow. So I'm going to want to fight this dude as far away from that crossbow guy as possible, because I don't want to get hit by the crossbow while I'm fighting this dude, because that can actually wind up killing me in the long run. But just dodging through the enemy's attacks, trying to stay out of the range of his sword, or just dodging at the right moments. Like that, I dodged through him to be able to get behind him out of his weapon range. And just really playing with them, which I would actually recommend in the beginning, getting the heavier armor and just fighting these guys to learn combos and everything like that for beginning weapons. Because these guys actually, if you play it right, won't hurt you that much. Like right there, I took one hit, almost killed me, but with my heavier armor on, I didn't have to worry about getting one shot like I was earlier. And this also improves your weapons statistics like my familiarity up there on the top right of my weapon. As you can see with the swords, and like each weapon you have to use it to train with it better, or you can respec it up to your level by going to the blacksmith that you don't unlock until later on in the game. But if you want to increase your weapon statistics, you either equip the new weapon or upgrade the one you're currently using to match your current level. Like every weapon I pick up and equip doesn't have a familiarity with it, which it also allows it to where if you use a specific weapon later on, let's say you like spears, you can level that up and then get a couple levels and then switch to another one, get a couple more levels, switch to another one. Eventually you'll make it to max level and have really high combos with it. First boss of the game. With this fight, I'd actually recommend not wearing heavy armor, because heavy armor doesn't allow you to dodge as far back as you might need for his combos later on. I broke his armor, so I'm going to knock him down, finish him off with the final blow. That's the stamina, basically riposte in this game, as you would call it in Dark Souls, or riposte.
The man with the garden spirit.
If I die, the secret of the stones dies with me.
Let me show you what these stones can do.
I'm not sure if I should call you Al, but later on, if you want, we could team up.
It's time for your execution.
Of course, this is the second phase of this fight. I would recommend staying back and waiting for this move here, getting a couple hits in, backing out, because if he charges at you, it doesn't do as much damage because you can sidestep it and then come in behind him for the attacks. And he will actually do a slash in the charge just like that. You definitely do not want to be caught by that because it does massive damage. I've not seen that one before, actually, that grab that he just did. But this is how I'd recommend fighting this guy. Just get 2 hits in, dodge out. Now you can either do long range attacks, like this jab, or you can do 2 quick, just attacks. Because the long range gives you more reach to be able to back up. It'll connect a little better for actually hitting him. I just like doing the little quick slashes to get in and out. Because in case he does that slash there, I can get out fairly quick. And it gives me more damage for doing 2 slashes than just the 1. Now if I hit triangle and circle, this is my actual spirit ability at the moment. And these are really cool later on. Because later on in the game you can actually select a different spirit to play with. I know of a fox, I believe, is one of the first ones you can get. There's a shark, which is the water spirit, and there's one more. I think it's a hawk later on.
During 2 years' voyage, the Hell was lost. The trial sank, while the whole planet stood without a trace. The good news of the Bride of Bugs was nothing but lies. Only leaves the rain. An ironic twist. But what awaited us in the forest wasn't all. It was monsters of death.
I think Nioh was like, I think it was like $60 for the full version, I think. Of course, you got all these different weapons right here you can choose from. When you spawn in, the first selection you choose is actually what you get from the beginning of the game. Each one of these has a different attribute, like heart, skill, body, stamina, dexterity, strength, and skill again. Because dual swords and the Tonfa rely on skill, I think, to actually use them. So I'm going to select dual swords as my first weapon. And then I get to choose another one, which the Kusanagi, or however you want to pronounce this one, is supposed to be one of the best weapons in the game for attacks and just combos in general. But the Odachi, the Tonfa, the axe, and the spear are some of the heavier hittings. Like the spear has the range, axe has range and strength, but is slow. The Kusanagi has range for days and is very fast attacking. The Odachi is just like the axe, but with a little bit more speed. The Tonfa are close quarters, kind of like the dual swords are, but the Tonfa are in a pair, so they're meant for really fast attacks and then dodging out. The sword is just your one-handed primary weapon that you can use, which is actually pretty cool. I enjoy using the sword a little bit, but I like the dual swords and the Odachi and Tonfa pretty well, because they are reliable. Like the Odachi has the range for like the spear, the range of a spear pretty much, but the moveset more of like the sword or axe. The Kusanagi, or I'm probably butchering that name, but I've heard someone call it the Kusanagi before, so I'm just gonna say that in general. It has range and speed, so it's like comboed between the spear and sword as well, but you use the weighted ball for the long range attacks and the bladed scythe for close quarters attacks. And that will actually be my second weapon choice. This is like I set up my first guy. I set him up with the dual sword, and cool. Didn't know that. Here you can choose between the Koda, the Ishonda, I think is how you say that, or the Hawk. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that one because I'll butcher it, just like I'm pretty sure I did that one. I like my Koda though. He's adorable. And here, if you don't like what you chose, like say I didn't like the long range of this weapon, I could choose the Odachi, the Tonfa, the axe, the spear, along with the sword, but the sword is just the base weapon of the game. So I'm more of playing with one of the other weapons that I have not seen yet, because I've already seen the sword, I've seen the spear and the axe, but I've not seen the dual swords, the Kusharing or the Odachi, which each one of these you can actually get a version of in the beginning of the game that I've found. I've had each one drop for me, which is kind of cool, but I'm going to stick with my choice that I chose earlier. I'm going to confirm my options. Now it's going to ask me if I'm a first-time player and want to do the tutorial at the beginning. No, I don't want to do the tutorial, I've already done it. You can do the tutorial later if you want, or you can just do what I'm about to do and go straight into the beginning of the actual game. Which this is where the demo took place, or the beta. And I'll go ahead and tell you now, getting gear in this game is not the same as it was in Dark Souls, even though this is from the same franchise, you know, the same company. It's a From Software development. And as you can see now, I can select my weapon stance. So if I was to come into equipment, I can equip my dual swords. When I draw them, I'm in a top stance, or I can go into a mid stance, sheath them, as well as go into a low stance, which each one has its combo. Each one has a different attack pattern to them. Each one has different ranges that they can attack at. Right here's your first shortcut of the game, but you won't get that until later. But you will want to collect all the items you can find in the beginning, like this here. This is your new shrine for the game. This will pretty much, you'll see throughout the entire game. I just got medicine. I can level up here, make offerings to them for more. Amrita is actually what it's called in this game. I can change my spirit, summon an ally. This is to get your DLC items, which I'll go ahead and get now, because as you can see, I've already got the DLC to the game. It gives me special equipment for later. Unfortunately, the armor for it I cannot equip until I level up my strength more, to carry more items. So this, or actually my stamina is what I need to level up for. My carry weight. Body is to resist poisons and paralysis. Your heart is your key. It basically allows you to get more stamina. Which stamina in this game does not rely on this right here. It does not rely on your actual stamina, like this says. That's mainly for your carry weight. Your strength is also your weapons, like the axe. Skill is the Kusara. Dexterity is your kunai and throwing stars. Magic I've not really messed with. Spirit is my coda that I chose earlier. If I actually pray here again, you can see him spawn on the ground near me, right there behind me. He's my little buddy. You can get more later on, which is cool. I'm gonna go in here and equip my DLC items. As you can see, I'll switch over to the Kusara real quick, and I'm gonna actually use a really quick combo and then hit him with my range attack. Now I did switch from low stance into top stance for this, to be able to hit him from a distance. As you can see, here's all my DLC armor. I'm gonna go with human equip drop rate, although this helmet looks kind of funny. And I don't want to equip too much gear, because if I do, I'll become overweight. Which, becoming overweight in this game is pretty much guaranteed death, because you will get comboed. I'm actually going to fight the Revenant here. This is either added by the developers or a actual player that died there. And he has the playstyle of every character, like everybody who dies as this person, you get their playstyle. But if you defeat them, you also get their armor for whatever they were wearing. And then as you level up further through the game, you will actually get more weapons and armor from them, but you also obtain status from them. So if I come in here, if I defeat enough enemies, I will gain one of these titles. As you can see, that is one of the abilities for the stamina bar, the K or Kai. Fire user, if I use enough fire and damage enemies with it, water, wind, lightning, earth. And as you develop through them, you'll get like Earth Apprentice or Fire Apprentice weapons. All different titles, which actually give you points for later, like getting bonuses for in like the blacksmith, or getting, you know, discounts in her shop, or other items such as that. Like I can get better stamina, and here this will give me Amrita if I use it. I'm going to save them though, because I don't want to use them. The scrolls in the bottom of my screen are actually my current upgrades that I could use if I wanted. Although I'm going to save them for a little bit later. As you can see here, I'm fighting these two enemies. That's going to hurt. It's better to use a low stance on this weapon set, because you get more combos out of it, from what I've seen. I ran out of stamina, which killed me. But low stance with this weapon seems to be better. And as I said, I was going to show you how to retrieve your items for later. And as you can see up in the top left, I do not have my spirit anymore. I don't have any Amrita in my inventory. So I'm going to get some there at the bottom right. That will be used to level up and acquire gear later. But if you look over there next to that guy, that's where my spirit went, where I died at. This guy noticed me because I walked up on him. If you come up behind these guys, you can actually do special attack to them, like backstabs or stuff like that. But I can come over and obtain my spirit that had my Amrita in it from earlier. And you definitely want to come over and find these guys, but to interact with them, you have to put your weapons away, because otherwise you'll scare them too much to send them to the shrine. These guys give you health and special abilities like drop rate, attacks, I believe, like damage wise, resistance wise. I believe you can get some of them as well. Now you can combo moves together. You can do square, square, square into a triangle, or combos like that, or just square, square, triangle to do specific combos. Later on, if I was to come over to my learned skills, I'd go to my dual sword and learn how to do grapple moves like this, to where if I run them out of stamina and just a triangle without knocking them to the ground, I can do a grapple to them and knock them to the ground, dodge back or whatever. This is if I follow up a combo with triangle, I can do a roundhouse kick, which is actually one of the abilities I like. I really love that ability because I can use that for later. I can come over here and get my throwing stars or my kunai. This is where I learned both of them. As you can see, there's the kunai. I personally like the kunai more than the throwing stars, but that's just, you know, my preference. It's much like weapon choice in this game, honestly. As that says, I have Jiu-Jitsu unlocked for here, and I'm gonna go ahead and equip the kunai instead of the shuriken. Over here is your magic, but I really haven't messed with that yet, so I'm not sure how much that relies on or works. Of course, I can receive the blessing of the dude I brought home earlier, which increases the armor drop rate. The more of them you get, the higher your drop rate becomes. So if I want lots of armor or specifics like that, I can go ahead and start leveling that up now. Which, if I wanted to, I could level up magic, but I'm not too worried about magic. Haven't really messed with it throughout the entire game. And I got another level up, so I can come over here and get my next ability. Now my dual sword should be relying on low stance instead of my high stance, based on how I just equipped it. Sacred water, right here. Water that has flowed through the inner sanctum of a shrine. It speeds up K recovery for a short period of time. This water has been used in rituals since the days of old, and is embedded before making vows to the gods. Pretty sure I said that wrong, but you know, whatever. And like I said earlier, I could summon a partner for the game if I wanted. To summon someone, they have to be further in the game than you, which I think is kind of weird, but I guess if you really want, you could have someone help you through the game that way. I don't have any offerings to summon anyone with right now at the moment, but later on I can get one and then show you what that looks like. I'm going to go ahead and enter low stance for when I'm fighting this guy, because if I dodge back, I get my stamina back. Ow. There's the roundhouse kick that I unlocked earlier. Now if I actually run this guy out of stamina, I could use a kunai to either kill him or knock him down instead of doing a grapple, which is part of the cool reason I like the kunai, because if I don't want to get too close to an enemy, I can draw them out with it, or I can finish them off with it. And right now I'm literally just farming these guys because they give me the most points out of the beginning of the game, which is why I said I recommend farming people, because if you don't farm them now, later on, further in the game, you'll actually wind up needing a certain level for gear or special abilities, and you won't have them because you didn't farm the guys in the beginning of the game. And I'm not saying spend six days in total just standing here farming these guys. I mean, just, you know, do a couple combos on them, leave, come back, or whatever you need to, farm a little bit more, because these are the easiest enemies out of everyone I've faced. And there's a plethora of them to just stand here and fight it out with. And this guy's using a spear, which gives you the most range in the game, so I want to avoid getting hit by it. Especially now that I don't have any good gear on. See, here's more Revenants. I can attack this guy, get armor or a spear. I can come over here, fight this one for a sword or armor. And that's actually how you get gear. It's the most important way to get gear in this game that I feel. Because it gives you the most gear. If you defeat a high level enemy, you can get better gear. Ow, ow. Oh god. That would have hurt if he had hit me again. Now you can see I can use my spirit animal right now. He'll imbue my weapons in fire. And I can just melt this dude real quick. He'll die, I can move on. And as you can see, it's depleting. But to keep it on, if I want, I have to kill multiple enemies in a row. Like this guy here, if I'd have got to him quick enough, I could have killed him and kept my spirit animal alive. Now he has a reset timer till he basically respawns for me to be able to use him for later, because right now I can't use him at all until later. Right here I'm going to do a stab while he's on the ground, get a little bit extra damage in. As you can see, he did a dodge, which allows him to get more damage in. So I'm going to back up, use a little bit of health. He's trying to use a bow on me. And he's wearing a little bit tankier armor than I am. Get that little extra damage in. Now if I want, I can actually swap my weapon over and try to finish him with my spear. If I don't die first, I'm at healing. Take my kunai. Because as you can see, with him wearing heavier armor, I have to be very, very careful with actually fighting this dude. Because if I fight him normally, like I usually would, just trying to tank his attacks, he will eat through all of my attacks. Because as you can see, my armor that I was currently wearing is lower than what he was wearing. And if you do get a full set of armor, it'll give you special abilities. Let's say I equipped the Nioh armor, for example. It already gives me my abilities. I don't have to wear the full set for each one of their abilities, but if I was to equip a full set of gear for a certain class, it gives me all of its abilities, because later on I can equip armor that has special effects that aren't active, like this spear right now has its active. Later on, if I equip a sword or something like a bow, if the special abilities on it are not active, I have to do a special requirement to get it active. Now, but for example, a chest piece that I get later on, I need a full set of gear for to be able to actually activate its special abilities. Or I could equip a specific set of gear that comes with abilities just already in play. Like when I equipped my helmet earlier, it already gave me my special ability because it's a beginning of the game item. You know, this dude has the fastest dodge rate in the game because he's not wearing any armor, but he's a fucking cheesecake factory compared to everyone else. And he has a bow, apparently. That's lovely. And he did a dodge to get all of his damage up. As you can see, he's actually in a middle stance right now, which is kind of interesting. And he's blocking a lot for some reason. As you can see, I dodged to get closer to him, and he dodged to get close to me, which actually cost him the win. I have 10/10 glory for killing him and every other enemy that I face off with that's a Revenant in the beginning of the game. I'm not sure if you get more later on or not, because I've not fought any past the second area. As you can see, I actually wound up aggroing both these guys, which is not a good idea. But if you play it smart just like that, you'll come out on top with the win. Item descriptions. I want to go ahead and get my high stance. So if I get full ki while I'm in my high stance, I get extra damage afterwards. And your ki bar is the green one up at the top left corner. It's basically stamina. If I do it right, I can hit R1 and gain ki back. So if I'm in a fight and I'm fighting this dude and I run out of ki, if I hit it right, I can get full ki back instead of having a specific amount of ki. Now you can see that dude hit me but also ran out of stamina, which means he can't attack or really dodge that well. And of course I'm fighting all these Revenants now because of the fact that I don't really want to fight a bunch of guys later and get demolished. Oh, he tried to use kunai. And see, these guys might have more combos than me, so I have to be careful and use what I have to my strengths, like my low stance. If I use my low stance, I get better attacks with it at the moment because it's what I have my ability set for. As you can see, that dude hit me with the bow, which stopped my attack. This dude right here is actually one of the hardest Revenants I fought so far because he's using his strengths to his advantage. Like there, I knocked him to the ground. I can do a combo on him, dodge out, hit him with a kunai for a little bit of extra damage. Hit him there for a little bit extra damage. Hit him there again. As you can see, I relied on my guard there a lot more. Because if you guard, it basically stops their attack from hitting you. Right now I want to go back and get medicine because I'm actually really low on health. Instead of continuing on to try and get one, I will come all the way back and use the shrine to refill my current health. And making an offering allows you to get more Amrita, but it requires you to sacrifice gear. So my current starting shirt that I spawned in with, I can choose to make an offering with it and get Amrita from it. Same thing if I wanted to sacrifice this piece of armor I got later on in the game, I can sacrifice that. My miner's pants that I wore in, my miner's boots that I wore in. Same thing with armor I found later from defeating enemies, I can offer that in. I can either level up or save it for later. I can also do jutsu here as well if I get more jutsu. I would recommend before every boss fight you come back and actually do level up your character, because you will need it for later. This is going to be an interesting fight, but at the same time, this guy has no armor on, so if I just kind of spam at him, I can stun him like I was doing the guys earlier. And of course this dude over here is just a bot, so it shouldn't be that hard to kill him. Although I do have to worry about that guy attacking me at the same time as this other dude, because he has the same weapons I do, so with him being in a lot of the same stance as I am, he has the same abilities. Why the fuck would you throw a bomb at me? No bomb throws. Ow. I have no idea why I couldn't dodge there. Yee. This guy died by drowning. Or drowned. He drowned. It actually tells you what killed him, who killed him. This guy, if you look at the very bottom, I can tell that he drowned by jumping into the water. I can also tell when he died. He died on 12/22/2018 at 23:34. I really felt like I could fight this dude. But he doesn't have any of the gear that I want. Like this guy over here. This dude has 1 yellow armor and 3 white. I don't really want to fight that dude. I could if I wanted to gain more reputation for my weapons or for my title, which I'm actually not all that worried about, because I know as I progress through the game I'll get them later. I'm gonna go ahead and grab grapple. See this guy, he has a blue sword, 3 yellow pieces, 3 armor yellow pieces, and 2 white armor yellow pieces. So I'm not really worried about trying to get his armor. But for the shits and giggles of it, I'll fight him. Now he's using the sword again. That was actually one of the combos you can get for it. As you can see, if he just blocks, I'll take him out of stamina. And then as he's on the ground, I can do a backstab, or if he's standing, I can do my grapple, which I can do right now. And since I'm not out of stamina, it's a guaranteed grapple, and instantly kills him. So I can run up, fight this dude. See, I just gained proficiency in my dual wield in the bottom left, which means I am now another level higher. So I can come in and get another ability. Which means I can get my mid stance. I can get my change style, so if I change from one stance to another, it guarantees my key comes back. But for right now, I want to rely on just gaining more levels in it. Because at the moment, I don't have very many. And the more skills I learn for any weapon, technically, allows me to gain more for my current weapon set. Now I want to fight this dude again because he's the one that's wearing the gold armor that I currently have some armor for. Oh, I don't want to get grappled. And I got grappled. really? Is this dude about to kill me? See, his stab got more range than my dual swing that I tried. If I would have had more abilities in my weapons, I could have done that differently and did like a jump overhead attack with my swords and would have been able to hit him for more damage, allowing me to hit him from a greater range. And like I previously stated, if I really want to, I could come in here and equip either one of these. And let's say this dude here, like he was hitting me earlier, go into top stance, hit him from range, go into my bottom stance, and go into a combo. Or I can go into my top stance and go into another combo. Ah, damn, that grapple does a lot of damage. Now if I do a specific attack like the one I just did there, instead of doing this long range attack that I do in the top stance, I'll do a kind of short range swing in bottom stance. Same with right here, it does a little bit of longer reach, but it's pretty much the same idea. And of course this is my wide swinging attacks with one overhead attack that allows me to hit a specific group of enemies, or if I do like this, it'll hit one person in front of me. To start off a combo, like with this dude, I'll do a long range dodge in, start my light attack combo. And see, he just walked through it while the other guys that I was hitting earlier with it were taking a little bit more damage. And this dude can close the distance really well on that attack. So I'm gonna hit him, well, I was going to hit him with just a regular smack, but he keeps doing fucking poke stabs. Kunai. 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 Smack. And see, now I can learn my second combo. For my dual swords. And now, as you can see, I got another level for whatever weapon of samurai choosing I want. Mid stance, low stance, high stance. So I really wanted to, I could come over here and put one in my Odachi. I could put one in the Tonfa. For right now, though, I want to come over here and look at my Jujitsu. Because this allows me to get specific items like paralyzing, poison, fire. It allows me to get weapon buffs, essentially, like this one here is actually a bomb. That one's the legit bomb. I can come down here and increase my sacred waters that I can carry, or my power pills. I also have the option to get a magic. So apply fire damage, apply water damage, wind, lightning. I can do earth. Come down here and I can do versus yokai realm as a passive. Can get a talisman to recover health, resist paralyzation, increase my detection capabilities, and strengthens my compass to be able to find items. I can get this one to conjure guardian spirits to attack foes. I'm actually going to try out the guardian spirit. And now I still have 4 ninjutsu abilities and 1 for the samurai tree that I can equip to my character if I really felt like it at the moment, but I will save my 1 samurai for later and worry about doing my ninjutsu a little later on down the road. So as you can see, my ability that I got was a high stance ability, so I've stayed in high stance the longest. And it's actually, if I do a combo like that, and I hit triangle, I do a leap attack into my enemies. So I can do 2 hits into the jump, gain my stamina back, increase my damage, hit my enemy once, and they'll die. Now, of course, I could level up my ki to where I have more for later down the road to do more combos. And now I'm actually going to progress a little bit. Of course, this dude in the shack I showed you earlier, I'm going to go ahead and take him out as quickly as possible because I don't want the other two behind him to know I'm here yet. Like I said earlier, I could use my kunai to kind of stagger him out to where he won't gain restamina as fast. Sneaking up on enemies actually gives you a title later as well. I'm going to dodge out of the corner so I don't get jumped. Do one attack in heavy stance because I don't have any more triangle combos with my heavy stance. Your primary combos are on square unless you change it. I don't really mind that my combos are on square. I can use them just fine. These guys right here are a little bit tougher than anything else you fought. Like, that damage right there is crazy. Like, 2 hits literally just destroyed my health bar. So I'll respawn, I'll be back at the shrine. Now that I'm actually at the shrine though, I will go ahead and come over to my jutsu. And now is where I can equip my magic. Of course, I have to de-equip an item unless I level up to a certain point that I can get more. Because right now this takes up 4 of my jutsu cost, to whereas that would take up 3, this takes up 6. So if I was to level up either dexterity or my magic, I could increase to be able to equip both items at the same time. Now, I'm not really a big magic user, so I'm not too worried about getting all of the magic and everything like that developed and everything like that. But I do, however, like using weapon buffs. So I will probably focus on ninja skills rather than my other abilities. Like, I'll go ahead and equip the power pill, or activate the power pill, and increase my water for later. And I still have 1 point I can equip, so paralyzing effect. Boom, done. Run back over to the shrine. Everything that's not a passive ability in both the magic and jutsu trees will fall under this one. So this right here, if I de-equip it, I could get my weapon abilities for poison and paralyzing. I believe these 2 are. And then I can get my power pill to increase my attack power. So I can go ahead and equip poison. Now if I leave the shrine and I run, I can equip poison to my weapons, and then when I hit this dude it'll build up. Now, I didn't actually do anything to that guy because he wasn't wearing armor, but my weapons, as you can see, are now poisoned. Sorry about that. I went to go grab a drink. I will actually go back to low stance for this, actually, so I can do a little bit better than I was earlier. Because low stance with these weapons are a little bit more familiar to me. And they have more combos that I can rely on for taking enemies down. Honestly, I thought you went to bed, dude. Oh god. So as I currently level up my character, I will get abilities to do dodge moves with higher stance, but most of them focus on low stance. So my dodging allows me to get my key back, but if I do a combo like this and hit R1, I get my full key back. If I do a proper full key discharge, like I did right there, it will actually cleanse any toxic ground. Later on, when I start fighting the yokai, I'll get that and cleanse a spot. Because if I do not cleanse the ground as I'm fighting an enemy, I will not gain my stamina back. Dodging actually does not cleanse it, which I think is kind of weird, honestly, because you should be able to dodge inside the zone and gain your key back, but you know, developers and Jesus Christ, that's the first time that's ever happened. But I believe if you dodge at the right time, you should be able to cleanse the ground. But in the case of actually cleansing the ground, the only way I know of you can do it is by doing a proper cleanse like that there. I don't know why I just did that. I thought I had my kunai still on. As you can see though, as I died twice, my spirit returned to me, but I did lose all of my points that I had collected earlier, all of my Amrita. Ow, Jesus Christ. Chill. So if I need, I can just jump off the cliff, because they will not attack by jumping down it. I need to dodge. Shit. As you can see, the hit and run tactic, like I was saying earlier in the tutorial, doesn't really work in this game as well as it would in Dark Souls, to where you could block or just run away, like hit the boss once, dodge out, hit him again, dodge out. It does not really work in this one. Get off me. I can collect money for the blacksmith later, which is actually the number above, on the bottom right, above my Amrita. There we go. But it's gold for later for when I talk to the blacksmith, because she's the one who gives me upgrades for weapons and my armor pieces. So basically in this, it's either you block or you just tank through the damage, which usually is why I consist of playing with heavy armor, because I'd rather rely on being able to tank through a lot of my enemy's attacks rather than try and dodge out of them. Because you never know if you're actually going to be able to dodge it, or not dodge it, but block it. So I'd rather be able to actually dodge out of the fight than be able to block fully. Because if I block, they can get that repost on me, like I said earlier. And actually right here is where your kunai would come in handy for grabbing specific enemies. Because as you can tell, I got every one of them on me. And one of them is a spear user, one just uses a katana, and the other two do very high amounts of damage. And actually right here is a good example of why I would like to rely heavily on the mid stance of this weapon. Ow, I did not know that guy was an axe user. I'm gonna wait for him to do his combo, and I'm gonna start doing my combo on them. Please dodge. Alright, now I got my first Odachi. Which, the two weapons I actually prefer to use so far in the beginning is the Odachi and the twin swords, because I don't really like using the OP weapons as much as other people would. They'd rely on using the OP swords straight off the bat, just carry them through the game and everything. That's not really me. I like to play with my weapons a lot. As you can see, the Odachi is a very versatile weapon. It has the range, but a little bit more speed than the axe. It has range almost of the spear with its long blade. But it does require a certain finesse for staying out of the attack range of your enemy. Because some enemies, like this guy, if he would have actually hit me, could have started a combo chain and just went straight through my attacks. That's actually just the mid stance of this weapon too, so I could go into my middle stance. Oh god, this is a gold armor guy. See, this is more of a hit low attack stance. This has range and power. This weapon actually does take a lot of stamina, so I about got grappled there. That was not okay. Again, I could always poison my weapon. Which I just did the grapple move there for this weapon, which is actually kind of cool, but I did not one-shot him because this dude has a bit more beefy health bar than just regular enemies. And now my poison wore off, which I don't really want to use them on these guys because these guys aren't really too much of a threat. They're pretty easy to take out. As you can see, they're dropping armor, which I could make offerings to my shrine friends to get more Amrita. But I'm not too worried about, you know, getting Amrita stuff at the moment. Because as you can see, I'm almost full familiarity with my DLC dual swords, so I could switch back over to my base beginning dual swords and level them up. Same thing with the Tachi. It's your basic sword, my spear, my axe. I could level all them up and put all of their perks into my dual swords, or I could put them into my Odachi now that I have my Odachi. If I really wanted to. Which I might actually do, because there's none in that one that looks really good. So if I do a mid or mid or low stance only is this move here. If I end my combo in triangle, I can throw them off balance, basically staggering them. I don't really like that one. That's if I change stances, I can recover my ki. This one's actually a sheath attack, which, I mean, I like my sheath attacks, but these are more powerful, like ending a combo in that. So if I do mid stance or low stance into a triangle attack at the end of a combo, I will actually do the overhead slam. Same thing here. It's a quick attack from high to low stance. Same thing here from high or mid. Well, follow up an attack from high or mid stance with a strong attack from the low stance. So as you can see, the second row is pretty much all of my abilities for doing certain attacks. Or I can always go with my sheath one, which I will actually do now because I do like doing them. The sheath combo is actually if I get this guy to come out. Ow. I get him to do an attack from range. If I do my sheath combo, if I can actually get it to activate, is that there? Now it didn't actually connect with him because I wasn't at the right range. But if I sheath my weapon, I get him to do an attack. And I can actually use it from guard mode. It's just, it's very wonky to do because you have to put your weapon away first. Because as you can see, I put my weapon away immediately as soon as I hit the combo stance. There, it did 684 damage, and I insta-killed him. Same thing with all the other weapons. They do have a sheath attack. It's basically a special attack. I don't rely on it as much because the Odachi one isn't as good as some of the other ones that I found. Like if I had my dual swords on with its long range attack, it actually has a better one than the Odachi. But the Odachi is my, I'd say, second favorite weapon in the game. This way is actually the second area you're supposed to go to because this continues on later into the actual game. But the first demon you can actually face off with is up here. Oh, I missed my drop attack. As you can see, it dropped me another Odachi, but it's not better than the one I'm using, so I'm not going to switch to it. He did drop me medicine, so I'm glad for that. I'm going to go ahead and get this item, though. This one over here. Got a spirit stone. I believe the spirit stone is used to summon my... Oh no, that's actually a better Amrita stone. Huh. I thought that was used to summon back my creature, or my spirit animal when I lost him. As you can see, I'm trying to rely on more wide-sweeping moves if I'm fighting all three of them at the same time, and my long-reaching moves if I only have a couple in front of me. Because if I do the long-piercing move with my Odachi, I can hit through enemies to hit more than one at a time. That actually pays off better in the long run. I will be right back, though. I have to use the bathroom. Alrighty, sorry about that. Now we can continue. And now that I've taken out those three enemies, I can move up. Well, those four technically, which is this guy here, but he's not really a problem. There's this dude here. He's using a spear. Again, the Odachi pretty much has the same range as a spear, so I'm not too worried about this guy. That may not look like anyone's in here at first, but there's this dude right here on the corner. I do want to sneak up on him, get my 2 hits in, and then kill him with the 3rd. And as you can see, there's a lot of bodies here. You know, you got the dude over there, this guy here, 2, 3 there. This guy right here is actually an archer, don't be fooled. If he notices you at a range, he will shoot you with an arrow. Now you may see there's nothing back here, but there is this path up here. That's how you actually come over here later, because behind this door is where you continue. To continue that way, though, I have to come in here and activate that black dust over in the corner. That is actually the demon of this area. What it just spawned on the ground is actually the thing I was talking about earlier with the cleansing. I do not want to step in that. I'm going to go ahead and get out of the building though, because I don't want to fight in there. I will see if I can poison this guy though, and he just one-shot me. Sometimes that'll happen, sometimes it won't. I mean, fighting the demon at a lower level is not a good idea, but at the same time, it is possible. Hello to my 2 viewers. Oh god, this is the same dude I've been fighting all day. Really? Again? Oh god. As you can see, the side of my screen earlier while fighting both those guys said that I had maxed out my dual swords here. So now I no longer have a reason to actually have that one equipped. It's maxed out. It will do more damage when it is maxed out, but I don't want to continue using that because it will no longer give me any more levels. So I'm going to go ahead and equip the spear. So I can gain more samurai levels for later. As you can see, I do have quite a bit of armor. If I want to equip my full set of gold armor that I've got, as you can see, it just said I exceeded my weight limit. My weight limit is in the top right over the armor panel. As you can see, I'm over it. if I go back to my beginning armor, for example, now I'm no longer overweight, but I was still pretty heavy. As you can see, now that I'm in the green, I do have one of the fastest dodges in the game. But I'm also wearing one of the lightest armor sets in the game. And I do have mixed matched armor, which means I don't have a specific defense setting at the moment. I wouldn't be too worried about your defenses in the beginning. Later on, you can find gear that allows you to have their full gear set, because you can level up, you can gain all your gear, all your stats. But for the beginning, I mean, honestly, it's just playing with the weapons, feeling which one you want to use. Because I would honestly say choose two weapons to use through the entire game and then stick with them. Like, I like the Odachi, the Tonfa, and the dual swords. I mean, those honestly would be pretty much my only choice for weapons in the game, because they're my favorite that I've found so far. But I could recommend the spear, the Kusarigami. Could recommend the sword, honestly, but yeah, it's your preference essentially with what you like to use, what you feel is the best. I mean, you do have to work with each weapon, find their combos. And honestly, I would recommend play with each of them in the beginning, because this is where you get all of them at. You can play with them, see if you like them, see if you don't like them, you know. See if their combos are what you want to use. Like this one, the Odachi here has the leg sweep. On its low stance, on your high stance, you have your kind of just wide attacks. On your top stance, you have more like an indoor stance, if you wanted to say that. Because I would not recommend using the Odachi inside a building with its moveset. The dual swords, however, I could recommend using in a building, because their attack pattern doesn't really hit the walls or anything like that. An axe or the Odachi, however, I would say don't use them inside of a building, because they will hit walls, they will hit you know, the ceiling or whatever if you're in the wrong spot, and that will stop your attack. Which is why I honestly recommend using pretty much all the weapons in the game, because of the fact that the spear is good for indoors. If you really want a good damage sword for like DPS, I could recommend dual sword. Your best range weapons are your Odachi, the spear, and the axe. If I had to pick which range weapon to use, honestly, it would either be the Odachi or the spear, because the axe just has a little bit shorter range than both, I feel, and its attack rate is very slow. So honestly, I do not really recommend using the spear, or not spear, but the axe, unless you want really high DPS but very slow attack speed. I mean, honestly, it's really up to your playstyle, what you want to use, but for me, I like the fast attack speed of the Adachi. I love the fucking... Or I love playing with the dual swords because of their attack speed. I love playing with the Adachi for its range and attack speed. The Kusagari... I don't really play with that much because I have seen people use it and they were extremely overpowered because the combos and just the poison buildup and everything is crazy with that weapon, which is part of the reason I don't really enjoy using it, because I don't like being just overpowered. You know, I like taking some challenge into consideration. Because if I was to play with just an OP weapon to carry me through the game, it wouldn't be that fun for any of us. And I'm not saying not to use it, but that's your preference if you want it. I mean, its attack speed's good. Range is decent, but I wouldn't say its stagger potential is all that high. Of course, if you're fighting dudes like this, to where they don't have any armor on, stagger potential doesn't really matter. Because if you fight other players, they're going to have, you know, heavy armor, they're going to, you know, tank through hits. Which means you got to be really careful about actually fighting the Revenants. And I would say the same about the Yokai too, because you don't want to fight them carelessly like I've been trying to do. You gotta actually think about how you're attacking them, because they have heavier stats than you. They will tank through your hits. They will just stand there and be a beefcake. Like that move there is actually a really good move to use when fighting a one-on-one battle. The dude with the axe did it. As you can see, I received a title called the Adachi User. That means I've used the Adachi to kill, I believe, 50 enemies. As you can see there, it told me I actually got the title. If I come in here and I scroll down, right here is the Guardian Spirit, Living Weapon User, Martial Arts, a lot of the weapons. If I come over, here's my weapons. See, right here is my Odachi. That's kill 50 enemies. If I actually get it to 100, I get the Odachi Adept user. Which allows me to get points for later. If I get certain charms and talismans, I can get it to where I have perks that allow me to find my little buddies that like the one I found earlier, and there's actually more in the next area. I don't know how many are in this area, to tell you the truth. I think there's like 12 in each area. If you fight this dude, I wouldn't recommend just trying to straight up duke it out with him. I did before. It didn't work out too well like it is now, because he will just wreck you. As you can see, I just got a 3-piece Ronin set, gained 13 glory, so he was a little bit of a tougher enemy, and I found a little buddy. Now I can break these panels down if I want to fight this demon. I want my spirit back. The quiet one, that's for sneaking up on enemies. As you can tell, I'm just gonna, use a little bit more ranged attacks on this dude, because I don't want to get up too close and personal with him. He hits really hard. I mean, I can stagger him just like that and get my backstab, or my ground stab, whatever you want to call it in this. Now that that's done, I do have the key to open up that door to move on to the next area, but I still want to clear the other area out that I did not go to earlier. Right here is the key to the gate, but I'm actually going to run back down and go this way. Because now I get another story, my key pulse, which is actually the ability I keep using to gain my key back when I do combos like that. That was a little key pulse. That's a big key pulse because it gives me my attack that you can see in the top left. So that's my attack boost. Living weapon is actually what I used earlier to buff my blade with fire. Since I do have the Coda spirit with me, it gave me my living weapon fire buff. As you can see, the dude is just chilling over here waiting for you. And I do recommend going through and doing what I'm doing now, just making sure you collect all the items for the area. Because I've been collecting Amrita, crystals. There's hidden items like this one right here. That could be an Amrita crystal, or it could be armor or weapon. That one's actually a fire amulet. If I come back in here, I could go look at my next prestige item. Or I can come in here and do elixir effect on life recovery, toughness, item drop rate, or gold earned. I want to go with gold earned for right now. I will go back through and go ahead and look at all of my abilities, because they give me the quiet one. This is attack 50 enemies, from behind. You also have attack 100 enemies from behind, which will eventually give you enough to get prestige points. And like I said, you get fire amulet, elixir, travel amulet, which means if I was to pop that, I would actually go back to my shrine, I believe. There's a bowman up there and a spear guy down here. I would not recommend doing what I did and alerting both, because they can actually spot you from range. I'm not too worried about though, because you can do what I just did there and lead one back to a distance and then move in. Of course, you don't want to get hit by the arrow, so I'd recommend just quickly stepping behind a tree, stepping out, stepping around the arrow that he shoots at you, stepping out of the way of his attack. There's my first charm. This guy right here is also a bow guy, so you're going to want to close the distance on him really quickly, so he cannot fire any arrows at you. And then you got your sword guy here. But if you're like me, using the Odachi or the axe, you got range and you hit really hard. This should be the first bow in the game. That's why it's actually recommended to come this way first. I didn't, however, because I like going the other way, get that over with, and then coming this way to fight all of this. Because that means I should have enough weapon skills and everything to be able to come fight these guys. Because I would not recommend fighting these guys without previously getting better armor and gear. Because these are pretty much a low class of demon, or the yokai. They are undead, essentially. I do not like fighting these guys without having some sort of level, because these ones right here can do a pounce attack on you, and that's why I recommend low stance with this weapon, especially with the Odachi, because you can hit them while they're on the ground. They will stand up, they will try and attack you. And if they do do a jump attack on you, I do recommend healing immediately, because you do not want to get hit by them a second time. No, now I can come over here if I wanted to summon this guy in, beat him. Which I think he's actually using an Odachi like I am. Oh, he is. Oh god, we did the same move actually. And it looks like he's more of a beefcake than I am, so I'm going to hit him a little bit from a distance, gain my key back. And finish the fight off. I'm actually coming down this way because, ooh, I forgot the dude was there. That's why I said low stance attacks are a little bit better, because if they do that right there and crawling across the ground, the only way you can really hit them is low stance. Another reason I came this way and grabbed these is because I want to kick this ladder down, because if you remember earlier on in the stream, this is the shortcut. Now with everything that I've collected on the point on the way over here, I can come in, level up my weapons, stamina, health, you know, whatever I want right here. Receive my blessings from the little guys that I found so far. So if I want the elixir drop, or if I want materials for later on, I can do that. But for right now, I'm going to stick with my current one that I have on. Again, your levels, you want to keep an eye on these because you can actually get levels throughout the entire session. And if you never level your swordsmanship up or anything like that, that means while you're fighting throughout the game, you won't be doing combos, which combos are pretty much your way to win in the game. As you can see, this one actually ends in a square at the end of your combo, which is one of the only ones that I've seen that does that so far. And each combo finisher you actually want to look at, because like this one, mid or low stance allows you to hit them with the hilt of your sword at the end of a combo, which if I use this here, I could do my first combo and then transfer into my low stance into that combo by using the change stance here. That gives me key. I could switch from a high stance combo into a low stance combo, get my key, do a couple attacks, and then switch into a high stance or back into a low stance just by doing combo chains. And again, you want to watch out for these guys, because now that I rested at the bonfire, or not bonfire, my bad. Now that I've rested at the shrine, and I've come back this way, I can fight these guys again. And as you can see there, my combo actually went from doing a low stance by... Oh god, there's a grab. Just by attacking in my low stance, doing a couple attacks, into my triangle, I go instantly into a high stance. Or if I do it in reverse and do a triangle, square, I instantly go into a high stance attack again. But it's two different combo moves that I just used there. One being triangle, square, or I can do square, triangle, and I end up in my high stance. Now, if I'm in high stance, I can no longer do either of those combos because all of them rely on being in a low stance in the first place. Here is another shrine that I can rest at. So I didn't even need the shortcut in the beginning, but I went and grabbed it anyway just so I could have a little bit more health on the way over here. That being said, you do have to deal with people like this trying to do sneak attacks on you from around corners. Although if you've leveled up your sword since the beginning of the game like I have, it should be no problem. Now you can see if I hold my left trigger like it's saying, I can fire my bow, I can switch my arrows out, Of course, at the moment, I'm not really worried about it. I have nothing to shoot at. Go ahead and grab your item. As you can see, I'm back down here. And I stood at the shrine, so I can get some free Amrita on the way out. Which actually doing weapon combos in this game is a really good way to kill people. So I'd recommend getting the change stance, unlike I did, so you can get your key back and just melt people down. But at the same time, if you don't want to do different chains, you can, or different switches between your stances and everything, you can just rely on combo switches, because you can actually just chain your combos together, but you will run out of ki very quickly. Like with me attacking right now from low stance, going into my high stance, I don't have to worry about it. Because if I do my low stance combo into a high stance, regain my ki back up. Now with my high stance being active, I don't have combos with it like I did with my low stance. However, it still works the same. This guy actually has the spirit animal for the shark, or the water spirit. All three of these guys seem to be using Coda like I am. That guy actually has the hawk. Now if I do want to, I can actually sneak up behind this guy, hit him in the back, get his attention. But now I have everyone's attention from over there. And I've maxed out my familiarity, which means I have to switch to a new Odachi to be able to, oh god, to be able to use my weapon. Because leveling up requires you, Amrita is your souls basically. That gold stuff that keeps popping off of enemies and coming into my character is Amrita. Like if I come in here and I was to pop this small Amrita stone, as you can see, I just got Amrita into my inventory. That's Amrita. And if I come back over here and was to use Amrita, it would be used for these. All of my level ups have a little Amrita cost to them. So when I kill this dude here, I'll get Amrita from him. God, Jesus. But every time I kill one of these guys, I get M-Rita from it. God, Jesus, that dude kills me. Literally. But M-Rita is basically your level ups in this game. It's pretty much like Souls. Oh, Jesus. Come on, bro. It's not that serious. But yeah, M-Rita, if you're thinking like Dark Souls, it's pretty much just your souls that you farm, you level up with, you die with, and then you restart. Alright. Shit. I just continued the area a little bit. Fought one yokai. I'll show you where he was though. because he's not really all that hard to miss. Let's see, actually, you know what, I'll actually get one of my spear abilities. Maybe not. Let's go with an axe one. Oh, I didn't know that. I can increase my defense by sacrificing movement speed while my weapon is sheathed. Okay, so while using the axe, if I'm in a high stance, now, end of a combo, I can do my uppercut now. I did find one more of my little friends that go on the shrine over here on this cliff. He's chilling like right here. And then if you want, you can drop down and grab an axe from right, or not an axe, a bow from right there. And you want to get back here early and not go through what I tried to a second ago with the bow guy and the other dude over there that are holding each other's hands. You can just drop down right here, grab your items, and come around behind these guys. Like I said before, though, the axe is slow, but effective. Of course, there's your bow guy. If you do come this way, he won't see you at first. If you run really quick, he will hear you coming. But if you play it smart and walk a little slower, when you get over to him, he will die, guaranteed. I would not jump on that yet, because that will drop you down into that room. Are you going to use the chain? I mean, you can. It's pretty good. Here's another one of your little buddies, your Kodama. You're going to grab him and send him back. If you jump in this hole, you'll get assaulted by this pervert in his underwear. I took that way down because it's quicker. I would say grab all the items from up there first, because right here's the shortcut for later. You will need that shortcut, and I would recommend getting all the stuff up there first. I mean, you can get back up there just by going down a little bit further. Where I found that Kodama, there was a ladder that led inside the building, pretty much the same way you can get over this way, but I like grabbing all that stuff first. see right here is the ladder I was talking about. There's a demon right there. I would not say fuck with the demon yet, because you want to come over here. And you could drop into this room, but I would recommend attacking this dude first. Because if you do it later, this dude will know you're here. He'll be a little bit more prepped for the fight. And you want to just go ahead and grab all your items. Now I'm just gonna try and run straight through this dude over here to have a little bit more fighting room, because you don't want to fight him right there necessarily. As you can see, his armor already, or his stamina already was broke. Again, don't stand in that until you kill him. Ow. If I really felt like it, I mean, I could go ahead and add poison to my weapon and get him to attack, and then just start spamming the shit out of him. Now he should be poisoned, but he grappled me, so I'm going to die. But as you can see, it's doing 126 poison damage right now. That's just on a basis. And with this being the fastest attacking weapon in the game, you could pretty much just spam the shit out of someone, get them poisoned, and then you pretty much have won based on just attack speed and poisoning the person in general. I mean, comboing with this weapon is pretty good. Like, I just did a square combo into a triangle combo, which finished that guy off really quick. Same over here, just triangle squares into triangles. You want to dodge out, unlike I did, but you can either dodge or block. It's really your personal preference. I like to dodge, though. It's what I'm used to. But if they have an attack speed that's faster than yours, you're pretty much going to die. Especially if you're out of stamina. Although with this weapon I'm currently using, I honestly don't see a way that if you play with it right, you could die very easily. When you actually level this weapon up and get combos for it and everything, you'll be better off. But right now I don't really have any combos for it. I'm just using the base combos of the weapon, so. As you can see, the dude over there knows I'm here, so I'm gonna have to run over real quick. Now, hit him so he doesn't keep shooting arrows at me, and just finish him off. If you knock him down, you can grab his loot, but I would say keep him up here and just fight it out up here. Again, this guy's right here. If you leave him on the ground, you can do a backstab on him, but there's your grapple move for this weapon. I'm actually going to activate my living weapon, which, while in living weapon, if you do attack someone and they do hit you like that dude did, you can tank the attack and live through it just like I did. Because instead of doing damage to you, it'll take health from your living weapon combo that you're using. see there, I just melted that dude just by using this long-ranged weapon, fast attacking combo. You will want to come back here and duke it out with these guys to get these items. The only way that I know of to get back here is by going through that door, unless you climb up on the roofs and jump back. As you can see there, I just got Tonfa, one of my favorite weapons in the game. As you can see, I'm fighting a Revenant that has more range than I do, because he's using a spear, so I want to get behind him and start spamming away. Again, he's blocking long range to switch to close range while he's in his blocking stance and just melt him. Now I can come over and fight this guy, take him out pretty quickly, avoid that, and just finish him off. You're going to come up on the rooftops. Now there are items over here you can come grab. You can also fight some enemies. There's an arrow shot at me because some enemies know that I'm here from over there. But I'm going to really quickly fight this dude with a spear again. I just jumped into the fire by accident. Like I said though, while he's blocking, just try and move in and hit him with a combo. You're going to do a key pulse to get your stamina back. As you can see, he ran out of stamina. Finish him off. Now you don't want to hit the hole in the roof right here, because it will kill you. That's where I told you not to drop earlier. That's where that one guy's at. Sitting right there in front of the, right there in front of the good old box. You want to kill those two guys, kick your shortcut down, because right here is another demon fight. However, I will fight this dude first again. Really quickly. Ow, ow, ow. You don't want to get knocked off the roof because you take falling damage. They can do a drop attack on you. Just like I did there to that guy. Now I'm gonna crawl back up. And now I can go into my fight with this guy, but I wanted to activate my titles first, because now I have 2 rewards, and I can do versus Yokai Realm, close combat damage, life, or durability of my living weapon, which allows my living weapon to last a little bit longer, I believe. Now if I come back out, I can go back. Oh god, I didn't want to do that. I did forget that I got a new bow earlier too, though. Now you can see I have a rifle as my secondary now. Got some warrior armor. As you can see, my special effects on this one are locked. That means I would have to equip the Young Blood medium armor for that class set, and I would get my special effects. just like these two here, since I don't have the proper armor on, I'm not getting their special effects. Warrior of the West armor is what I would need for that. I do have a couple young blood pieces though. As you can see, the only two pieces, or three pieces that I don't have that are the young blood armor set are my Brawler's armor helmet, my Ronin armor for my boots, and my foot soldier armbands. Which means I'm not getting any of their special effects, so I'm not really worried about wearing the full set for that class. As you can see, there's my Tonfa, dual sword, spears, and it's based off of when you actually get the weapon, not when you use it. Like how frequently you are to use the weapon. Oh, that hurt. Fighting this dude on the rooftops isn't the smartest idea, but it is possible. I just got very unlucky to get smacked in the face twice. Now I come in here and I can get abilities for my Kusarigama. Oh god, he gave me through that, what the fuck? That guy's using an axe. Yeah, if you play this with two people using different weapons and everything, you can actually do really cool combos, use different abilities, like you can poison an enemy and hit him with paralyze or situations like that. And it's actually really good combos. That was a really shitty situation. like, if you use lightning and you level up dual wield enough, you can actually do insane amounts of damage with them. Same with a Kusarigama, you can use it to paralyze, poison. And it's actually really good to use combos in this, because combos just like that do massive amounts of damage. Since I haven't really leveled this weapon up, though, I don't have all the proper combos I could be using. Damn. Jesus. Tanky dude, Jesus. Trying to keep it clean over here. Sounds weird. Yeah, thanks for that one. Sounds about right, though. And there's a win. Now I could go down right there, or I could run across the rooftops over here. It all pretty much connects to the same place, but if you want certain items, you gotta stay up on the rooftops. Like there could be a Kodama up here that you want, or it could be a weapon. Like there's another Kusarigama. That dude trying to jump me from his boyfriend's pocket. Oh, Jesus. And being a primary Dark Souls player, dodging is the way to go pretty much. So trying to dodge a lot of the situations like this is not the way to go. Damn, I didn't know that was a thing. And that primary combo you see me using is literally just square. Like if I just spam square, it does that combo. As you can see, I leveled up again in the weapon. So now I have a new ability point that I can use. The only ability I can get with 1 point is the change stance key. I don't really use it that much, considering you actually have to change stance to be able to get it to work. So I'm not really all that interested in just change stance key. And the spear guy had more reach than I did. And apparently spams a lot. Yeah, I'm right. I mean, I thought about taking a break, but I ain't too worried about it. Let's go ahead and use my rifle. Headshot. Oh, shot the building. God damn it. God, Jesus. Sir. Calm down. Do what? Oh God. Okay, I didn't die. I I mean, that's cool. And as you can see, this is one of the weapons we haven't seen yet, is a hammer. And he's beating my ass with it, apparently. Cool. Wow, that sucked. Where was that armor I just got at? Full sword. That's better. God damn, that does a lot of damage. Yeah, I was clearing some stuff out. I'm at the actual boss fight right now. I figured if anything I could wait for you to come back and finish the first boss and then probably end the stream with that. And this is the first time I'll actually do a summoning for another person. Oh Jesus, right up the ass. No arrows for you. Yeah. Oh look, you're using the Odachi. Boss fight. First legit boss of the game, other than the tutorial boss, but I wouldn't really consider him a boss compared to what this guy can do. He is ugly. Oh god, belly flop. Sir. Fuck. Damn. Almost had him. He ain't pretty though. I'll give you that. He ain't pretty at all. That dude has a special, special sword. Oh god. Already starting off with that, huh? And that's the first boss. I don't know that. I want to move out, damn it. And then you just come here to go forward. And now I could actually play with this character with yours whenever you start playing if you wanted to play together.
Who are you?
Foreigner. You are Foreigner.
This is still in English.
Totally slaughtered.
My name is Hanzo Hattori. And you are?
Call me William. I'm here for service.
Hunting a person down in a strange land where will not be easy. If you will lend me your strength in fighting body, I will help you in return. Well then. Don't use break.
Ninja cat. Just a good old ninja cat. And this is your main hub. So I could come over and do a side quest, go to the main mission, or I could pay a visit to the starting point. And over here, you have missions you can go do to where you can unlock gear for doing regular missions. Of course, this is also where you go to your storehouse, your gate, dojo, blacksmith, and shrine. And this is one of the most important people you can ever meet. As Fighting Cowboy would call her, it's the blacksmith waifu. You can forge weapons, restat weapons, like Soul Match right here. I can take my beginning, my DLC swords, and I could soul match them with any other weapon higher than it. So I could soul match it with this one, but it would lower my attack back down because it would match it with whatever level I currently am, essentially. So I could train with my other weapon from the get-go again, the Nioh's dual katana, by soul matching it to level 9. And right now it's level 6. So if I was to take one of my level 1 weapons and bring them up to level 9, it goes from 78 attack to 115 with no familiarity, compared to my level 6 that's at 130. Even though if I soul match it up to be at level 9, I'll get a little more damage output as I get familiar with it again. Same thing with my armor. If I wanted to do armor and soul match it up, I could soul match it all the way up to my highest level armor. You can get your haircut here. You can reforge, dismantle, and you can buy and sell, which I'm really not too worried about buying and selling at the moment, because I pretty much have all the stuff that I want at the current moment. She doesn't really have a lot of good gear anyway to like start out with. I mean, she has some armor that you can get that would be nice, but she sells ammo and stuff too, which I'm not too worried about getting. If you get this book, it allows you to reset your skills and pretty much your stats or whatever, to where you can basically reset them, I believe. Going to the dojo allows you to train in your basic combat skills, pretty much the tutorial. But I want to do this one real quick because it gives me my shinobi armor. I become a ninja. So if I use that, I get 5 ninja skills, and it wants me to come over and get shuriken, the cow traps, then you pray at your shrine to equip your ninjutsu. I want you to equip all of them to your inventory. And you're going to want to put them in your shortcuts. And with that, you move on. Now I have my ninja outfit. If I really wanted to, I could cooperate with another player to complete the beginning mission, or I could visit and cooperate with other players in a random encounter. For now, though, I think I'm going to call it and end the stream here, and then pick up with this later. So I will see you in the next one.